Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome. I see a bunch of new faces today. Shalom Aleichem. This is interesting ad. It's geschmack to be a partner. The Magid cheers for free, but the rest costs $2 million. This is the Israeli shir. The Hebrews, they got together. I have a Gevaldik Maisa actually that happened yesterday. Is Rabbi Leader here? Rabbi Leader's not here. So I'll say the story later. Maybe he'll show up. I'm going to skip through a lot of these emails. I like this one. Thank you for your wonderful shiur. Chizik to Klal Yisrael. I just wanted to share with you a cute anecdote that you'll appreciate. As a bus driver for Yeshiva Karlin Stolen Bar Park. I'm reading this because yesterday I said over the Magid Shir said that I'm going to turn out to be a truck driver. First of all, there's a guy in this room that's a truck driver. You're a truck driver. Also, you came down. I was thinking about you more than Van. Van is still a truck driver. Benny? There's nothing wrong with truck drivers. The truck driver wrote in, he goes, Halavai, we should all be truck drivers. You know how many shurim I do a day? 0. But that's not the point. I wasn't saying it like to put them down. I hope that I understood that. I just was never called. Nobody ever said I'm going to be a truck driver. As a bus driver for Yeshiva Karlin Stolen, what comes around goes around, because I learned in Karlin Stolen as a kid. It's one of the many yeshivas that I went to. I was driving home the preschool boys, and from the back of the bus I hear a kindergarten boy scream out. Scream out. No, he says scream. He says scream out in your sing-song tune. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. And the kid says, that's how you learn the daf. This is from a kindergarten kid. It's good to know the middles you have and your young ones. It's gewaldig. Good news, Rabbi Isai. Mayor Planko was caught by his daughter. Caught my father learning the daf on the plane on the way to Israel. I'm assuming you already landed somewhere. His father-in-law says no. Today. So this is what? This is on a jump flight? This kid, this 11-year-old kid, Rabbi Isai, did the daf with the official program, and he got $1,000 at the end of the day. He sent it every single day. Check this out. Anyways.
Hi, Rebellia. My name is Moshe Grunwald. I'm 11. I've been doing the daf since Sanhedrin in Gemara Chasimatov.
Excellent.
Kol hakavod, kol hakavod. Oh, this is a Gishmaki email. Dear Kvoid Kedushas Rebbe of Merkaz Daf Yomi, I said that even though I decommissioned Avodah Zarah, I want to thank Hashem through you for reaching the massive goal of $140,000 for the Sefer Torah. Lili Nishmas, my son. It's a tremendous undertaking. $140,000. The last thousands came through our MDY Mishpacha and the help of my old roommate from Torah Or, Reb Nachman Seltzer. Thank you, Avi, Rabbi Simon, Uncle Phil, Shalom Levitin, Nachman, and the others who donated were Makeh B'Patish. As a Karas HaTov to Hashem, I'm adding to my already monthly donation to MDY an additional $13 a month. I'm going to throw $372 yearly to my beloved MDY. By the way, I can't wait for Parshas Shmois? Okay. Since the tragedy, I gave many. He means the Shabbaton. Since the tragedy, I gave many highly inspirational speeches, and I'm available to speak with the next Shabbaton about my son and other topics related to that. I spoke in front of nice crowds, including in Tisha B'Av, Eicha, my wife also came to town. They're looking forward to seeing dance with everyone. The devoted Chassid from Merkaz Daf Yomi, Moshe Marv Handler. Rabbi Isai, I'm very impressed, and I really appreciate this. Look at all these numbers here. Yesterday, I said Glenn Hesterson, and I wasn't putting a face to the name. And after Shir, I was on a safari with him. I sat with him in the Jeep. Even in the first safari that most of the guys from the Americans didn't get to go, the ones from Eretz Yisrael, we went on our own little pre-safari in Kenya. Right next, you could see Kenya in the background. You were with us? Yeah, you were. That's where we saw the rhinos and the whole thing. Whatever.
Yeah, Shamshi got rained out.
So anyways, here are the names. Let's read the names. Hunter Zelton. Anonymous, $1,000. Heshi Hirsch, Thomas Bergman, Yisachar Rothbaum, Miller. You know, these numbers, I was talking to Mendy last year about it. Just this year, total, and just these small numbers, 1872, is $70,000 a year so far. It's a lot. Elliot Samuel, Samson Elijah, Shlomo Silverstone, Sauer, S. Kornblau, Ariel Simon. Ariel Simon, you giving again?
Someone gave it my name, it's not me. I guess it's my doppelganger.
Okay, somebody else.
It's 101 after I was slightly.
No, there's a lot of 101s. If you look right above it, it's 101. There's even a guy, Thomas Bergman, he gave $1.01, but he's known as the 101 guy. Now, could be he gave 101. I have no idea. This is what it showed up over here. But you know what? Every amount counts. Aaron Avadeyev, 18. Aaron Fireman, Yumi Greenberg, Joseph Weiss, Isaac Gindorf, Avram Shia Schneck, Zach Burak, R. Basser, Zachary, Israel Rappaport, Jonathan Deutsch, Avi Sat, Lance Fogel, Ayal Simchi, Tuvia Kimmel, Yossi Kellner, Yosef Stern, Arnon Aronov, Isaac, wasn't he here like the other day? Yeah. Isaac Weinstock, Nelson Katz, Shlomi Litzman, Shimi Goldblatt, Jeffrey Cohen, Yuda Sigler, David Shalamov, David Zargari, Aaron Markovich, Canada, all the way in the bottom, Katriel Silver, Shia Berkowitz, David Steinloff. You know what we don't have here? The guys from England. Where are the guys from England? I don't know. All right, so Yishkoach Gadol Moed. In lieu of some of the emails, I want to show you a short video that I squeezed somebody's arm yesterday to make. So I'm going to show it in middle share, so that the people that skip the emails get to see it also. So I'm going to go straight into the sponsors early. David Salomon, the Masechta sponsor, dedicated in memory of Avi Moiri, Reb Shmuel Baruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi. Every time I say this, every single day, I get a certain sipuk. He's the guy that, I don't know why, wanted to donate a substantial, one of the highest amounts of the year, not doing the daf. He spoke to my son, he says, tell your father to call me. I called him, and I said, listen, but you got to do the daf. You got to do the daf. It's a nice amount, you got to do the daf. And he started the daf, and he, not one day did he miss. He brought the 10 people, as you know, gave out ear pods, and he pushes the daf. It's a tremendous thing that happened there. I don't know why he came, but Akash Baruch Hu gave him this thing. He wants to donate to here. Anyway, the Masechta sponsor anonymous. Lil Nishmas Doidi Shlomi Yehuda Zochron Leverem Shmuel Chaim Asher Shogav V'Lomat Koshim Kol Chayav anonymous. The Schus Refuah Shleim Nochem Tzvi Ben Yenta, sponsored by Skyberg Capital. In honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki, and now I'm going to take a drink. And Shamshi Shlavrak for the devotion to the Torah study and the Shir. Joel Gedalius, Lil Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius. Anonymous, Hatzlocha, Baruchnius, Ubigashmius, Coil sponsors monthly. Anonymous from London, Hatzlocha in business. What he's trying to tell you is, if you didn't hear, is that Yishkoach for finishing off the Sefer Torah. That's what it basically. I didn't hear what he said. I saw you going like this, like this. I thought that's. You missed an email from Moshe Marv Handler, who thanked you and him and all the people for doing the Makeh B'Patish. Monthly, anonymous from London, Hatzlocha in business. Monthly sponsors, TCS Israel, powered by Talk and Save Aaron Kessler, in honor of the marriage of my son and my daughter. My relocating to Eden Gardens in Orlando, Florida, anonymous from London, Hatzlocha B'Parnasa. This, together with the monthly, maybe there'll be some massive monthly guys, some big guys, the guy, $10,000 guys a month. That's what we're looking for. Then we won't have to do a charity, B'chlal. It'll be a tremendous thing. I won't have to go to America. We won't have to be matriach the whole olam to push. Yehuda Loshinsky, in honor of my father's 6th cycle of the daf, your big heart and giving to the community is an inspiration for all of us. Anonymous, Brochad V'Lidai, Yehuda Ben Yamin Ben Chava, and Baruch Tzvi Nisim Ben Shoshan Alea. Anonymous, L'Shana Tovim, Metukah L'Schus Aliyo Ben Chai Dvoire, and in honor of my Chavrusa Simchala. Monthly sponsors, Ben Tzion Glicksman, Mazel Tov to Talia on her birthday, 12 Tishrei, urgent for Shlema for Chaim Yosef Aryeh Ben Sarah Rezel. The coffee for the month. All those coffees you guys took is by Rivka and Dr. Avram Epstein. Pray for a complete and speedy recovery for Dr. Harold Goldmeyer. Now what do we know?
It may be a tough long haul.
But he's conscious in the hospital? Okay. Tough long haul. Fuah Shlema. Weekly sponsors anonymous. Thanking Reb Stefansky and the MDY team for making Daf Yomi accessible and enjoyable to many. When they say the team, there's literally like 30 people behind the scenes. including some people that are right here. HYK Ventures, there are 4 shlema for Elko Bas Chana. Daily sponsors, Kinnovations LLC. My son Yisrael asked me to sponsor today. I couldn't say no. As a schus official, I give Simcha, Rivki, and Eli Stefansky. A woman wrote me an email 2 days ago saying that the Yad Hashem, the Kinnovations sponsors, and her son has like a medical issue. A lot of kids have. And she went on to KidInnovationsLLC.com, and they sell a watch that solves this problem. Reminds kids to do a certain thing, whatever. And she said the connection. Mamish saved her kid, saved his self-esteem and everything, and because of this Kinnovations. Just yesterday I got this email. Yesterday, 2 days ago. Anonymous. She was just saying, like, her husband listens to the shir, and they have this issue. They don't know how to solve the issue. All of a sudden, they hear in the background, Kinnovations LLC, Kinnovations LLC. They went online. What's Kinnovations LLC? They saw that he has some sort of watch that helped their kid. She said, "Kiss from Hashem." Fatzlacha Rabba. Anonymous. Fatzlacha Rabba. Schus. Malka Sora Bas Tzipora. Benjamin and Dr. Dan Kaufman. Nishma Simcha Ben Yerachmiel Zechron Baruch. Our father Sidney Kaufman on his 18th yard site. Eric Taib. Mazel Tov to Eden on her 18th birthday. Blessing and success at MTVA. Mazel?
The Dresher Torah
The Dresher Torah. Very nice. From Anonymous. Don't point the cameras. MDY Art. Mandalay Revosh Shlema for Yonatan Eitam Ben Beshev Bracha. Revosh Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther. Revosh Ayela Daniel Zev Ben Ayel Esther. Mazel Tov to Ashi, who had a baby boy. Ashi. Wow. He just lost, and Yaakov Sidra had a baby girl. Ashi, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. I guess you have the name. His father's just nifter. And he has the. Let it be a surprise. Let it be a surprise. And Yaakov Sidra, I forgot. Yaakov Sidra had a baby girl. Where is he? So let's just say a real quick Shalom Aleichem to some of the guests. We have on the guest table. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Shmuel from? Switzerland. That's your? Your dearest one. Wow. Yeah, no, you said it. It's slipped. Let it go. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? From? Shalom Aleichem. And we have all the way in the back. I saw. Oh, you're not so new. He's looking at the screen. Okay, fine. You, I said hello to you. You're new. Morning from 5 Towns. Shalom Aleichem. Another Lakewood. I was born in 5 Towns. I grew up in Switzerland. The Stefanskys are from. Now, what's your name? All the way in the back. From. Los Angeles. So my son lives in Los Angeles. Mamash Craven. It's unbelievable. Yavaldik. Okay. Yavaldik. Rabbi, we're starting a brand new parak. So if you're new to Zevachim, it's been a geschmacka ride so far. Some of today's daf easy because very, very familiar. I'll show you the chart. Okay, we're going to do it 3-4 times in a row. Easy stuff. Kol Zevachim, all korbanos shekiblu daman zar. We know there's 4 avodas: the shechita, kabbalah, hilacha, zrika. So we're not even going to be talking about. Oh, I got to show you this before you even start. I got to do some litzanas here. You know what? Let me show you real quickly. This is from our family chat. Okay, my son Aaron, he bought a Gdolim picture, a sukkah poster. Guess what he bought? So my son, crazy, they got the one with Sruli. My son writes that he got the one with me and Reb Sruli. What does my son say? Listen, typical, mamish. You see that he got the chinuch in this house? Achdus. Achdus. They charge more than the other gdolim for a belly. But listen to this. This gets better. It makes sense. Oh, and here's the bottom one. My son asks me, my rabbi wanted to know if you're offended that you're second to Reb Chaim Kanievsky. His Rosh Hashiva asked him, what's the pshat? You go over here, on the first page, you have Reb Chaim Kanievsky on the left, and you have. So I told him that in Yiddishkeit, the right is always first. You always go to the right first. So then he proved to me that I'm wrong. He showed me on another thing that Reb Chaim is above. Okay, fine. But then somebody sent me this one. And here's all these guys, the Gdolim. Here I am in the top right shelf. That's my makom, Rabbi say. So
That goes by the size of the esrog.
it's laughable. Okay, all the guys with the beers in this geshoyer on the top over there, making a funny face. Okay, anyway, we got every sukkah we go through this. Top shelf, yeah, top right. Now that we had the lisanos done. So now, the first avodah shchita we're not talking about. We know that a Yisrael could do shchita, that's not a problem. But everything past the shchita is problematic with the Yisrael, and then we have a whole list of people that ruin it, completely ruin it. So number one on the list is a zar, a Yisrael. Oynein, somebody who lost a close relative before the kvura. There was this Maiseh Shahaya, just literally 2 weeks ago here. It's going to make some people nervous. It's going to make some people excited. True story. 2 weeks ago, right here in the Bet Shemesh Pesach Kvaris, they're burying a woman, and they put her inside the grave, and they start putting the dirt on. And one of the sons says, "There's 2 minutes left to Chatzos. We could daven Shachris." They didn't daven Shachris. They're oining. They don't put on tefillin, no Shachris. He's like, "We got to chaparayim Shachris." So the other brother said, "This is sugar and cup. We're in the middle of burying mom. Like, what are you doing?" Shachris. He walked away to the side and he davened Shachris. And the other brother said no. And then the whole shiva back and forth. Was he right? Was he wrong? He brought rice from over here. There's a whole nidin over there. Just throwing it out. Maybe they should have been maked, like to delay the kfur for 5 minutes. I don't know. Or made it. I don't know what to do.
And then her foot started to move.
This week I'm on a roll. The stories they don't have great endings. These are real stories.
She was really alive.
Maybe she woke up from that. Like that thing, like, whoa, my kids are Tvul Yaim. Oh. So what's a Tvul Yaim? When a person is tamei and he goes to the mikvah, it removes some part of his tumah, not for everything. Certain things he's allowed to do now. He's allowed to eat, let's say, Meiser Sheni, but he cannot eat truma. This is the old-fashioned one. We're working on a newer one. I'll show you the newer one. So here's Yossi Klein, touches a rat. This is just like literally 2 years ago. The technology changed since then. Even for him to move his legs took Yoshi like hours upon hours. He's tamei, right? So now, if he touches a fruit, it becomes tamei. So he goes into the mikvah. Once he goes into the mikvah, even midday, it removes some of his tumah. Am I supposed to click again? I don't know how it works then. Oh, he goes into the mikvah. Everything. Oh, it comes out a Tvul Yaim, meaning that he's partially tar. So he's tar. What is he waiting for? Here, Esrik Dipo, Mamish, fix his regim, Mamish in Yonah the Yaima. That wasn't changed. That's from then still. Rabbi said we could still go to Noam Fix and keep the business in the mishpacha. And then when it comes nighttime, he becomes completely tired. We're waiting for Herav Shemesh. We're waiting for nighttime. When it's night, now if he's a zav Baal Shalosh Riyos, in other words, he's a zav gadol. He's a real zav. It's a harsher tuma. So this guy goes into the mikvah and he comes out. He's still a Tvul Yaim / Mechusar Kippurim, because there's another thing that he has to do. He can't wait till the night. He must also bring a carbon the following day. Until he brings a carbon, he's not completely tar. So these two guys, if they perform the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, it's possible. Let me just show you the new one that Yoshi is working on. Here we go. These are a bunch of bummy guys eating Mashiach Pitzuchim. And if you're a rat, a pitzuchim could be very dangerous. These guys are rats, they don't care.
Central, responding to the call on Elm Street, ETA 2 minutes.
Oh, he just became red. You saw? Yeah. He became tamei. All All right. Oh, but he wasn't completely toivel. I get it. Okay. So that's a Tvul Yomi. Tvul Yomi means that he went to the mikvah before Shkia. He has to still wait until Shkia, until Tzitzik Chavim, until it's nighttime, that he could be completely tahar. So, Tvul Yomi Mechusik Kippurim that do Kabbalas Adam, Hoylach Azrika, they ruin it. The carbon is gone. Umechusar Begadim, a kohen who has to wear the four garments, the 8 garments if he's a kohen gadol, he's missing something. Pasul. Shlei rochatz yadayim v'raglayim. We know that in the Beis Hamikdash they had something called a kiyar, and they would wash their hands and their feet. If you don't wash your hands and your feet, no good. Today, tefillah, people wash their hands before they daven, based on the korbanos in the Beis Hamikdash. Ariel, a Jew who doesn't have a bris milah. Rashi says even a Jew who has a really good excuse because his 2 brothers died from a bris, so he's not supposed to have a bris. Nevertheless, he ruins the avodah. Tamei, a person who's tamei. Yoshev, a person who sits. Now, they take this idea of sitting. Sitting is a problem in our days. What's similar to korbanos today? Shmoneh Esrei. So can you sit during Shmoneh Esrei or not? You shouldn't. You're not supposed to. There are extreme situations where you're permitted to sit. I myself took this very cringe video. It bothered me a lot when I took it. I took it myself. Here's a man davening Shmoneh Esrei in the one aisle of the airplane. There's only one aisle on this plane, and it's during they're serving. You can see that's the flight attendant with serving, and he's not moving. He's doing his Shmoneh Esrei. Yeah, no. I want to increase Havas Yisrael. I'm asking these people. Daven Shmoneh Esrei sitting down.
The father of the guy from the burial.
These things make a chilul Hashem. They really do. You think that you're Mikayim mitzvahs, I don't know what you think you're doing. What?
He didn't make it.
Okay, use common sense. Common sense with the Yiddishkeit. So, no, he holds that the yeshiva is ma'akiv. I even saw a halacha that if somebody's concerned that if he stands up, they'll take his stuff. Let's say he's on a train, on a plane, I don't know where, and he's not sitting and watching his stuff. He stands up and the guy's going to grab his thing and run. So you're allowed to daven Shmoneh Esrei sitting down. That's one of the psakim I saw. Again, ask your local rabbi.
Why not in business class?
This guy?
There was no business class on the plane. No.
Oh. Kasha for my Z. I don't always fly business. Now in the last few years, most of the time I don't. Right. Okay. No, I don't fly. When I went on safari, I asked Ariel, was I in business class with you? No, I wasn't.
I will not tell a lie.
Tell me, Yoshev.
If a person stands on top of different vessels, in other words, now we're talking about hilchas chatzitza. Your feet have to be straight, flat on the Beis Hamikdash floor. Here, Rabbi said like this, something like this. So in Eretz Yisrael, they have this whole thing. Oh, we should have put that piece in. This is a hypocrite guy. He's
No, Chas v'shalom. First of all, I only use it for work. And second of all, I use it only for Rebelli's Daf Yomi.
There's a famous thing, we didn't put it in, Chaval, we had it last night, where there's a guy who's doing a mitzvah, he'll take people's phones and break them for you. If you want to get, covered the Sesame Tshuva, he has his phone, he puts his phone number, he'll even do pickup, he'll take your phone and smash it. And then some guy found another ad somewhere, used iPhones, and it has the same phone number on the bottom. Same phone number on the bottom. MS. Yeah.
Havas Yisrael.
Havas Yisrael.
Yeah.
I'm trying. No, I try to protect the other guys. Okay. So you're not allowed to have a chatzitza or oimid l'gab behema. Oh, we have oimid l'gab behema also. In case you want to know what oimid l'gab behema means. Over here, the blood is going in an interesting direction. Lo mishaneh, AI. It goes this way, that way. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Yeah. So because these are all chatzitzes, he's not on the floor. Agabe ragli b'chaveroi, if he's on the feet of his friend, he's standing on his friend's feet. The floor is a little cold, so he decided to stand on his friend's feet. Obviously, they're not wearing shoes. Pasal, all these things make the avodah pasal. Kiba b'smal pasal. The Tanakama holds if you received the blood while you're doing it in your left hand, you did the zrika with your left hand, it's pasal. Reb Shimon says it's kosher. Zarmin Olan. How do you know that Yisrael makes the avodah pasal? The Tani Levi, Daber Larin Velbanovi Nazru Mikachi B'nei Yisrael. This is referring to a kainus tamei. So it says they should separate themselves from Kachi B'nei Yisrael. The Gemara does a classic process of elimination. If you were to pause for a second and say, what does B'nei Yisrael mean? B'nei Yisrael could either mean B'nai Yisrael, the sons of Israel, rather than the daughters. It's coming to exclude women. It could mean B'nai Yisrael and not Goyim. That's another thing. And the Gemara says those two things are not even it. It's something completely different. I'm learning it in a very different way than we ever learned. From these words, that when you're tamei, you shouldn't perform the avodah. But it comes to exclude, but only for Bnei Yisrael. But for others, you could do the avodah. What does that mean? Now, in the process of elimination, we have to go through the ones that it's not, and then we'll get to what it is. What? You can say that a woman who brings a carbon, the kohen could perform the avodah. What? Is a woman different? Her carbon could be brought, but Toma, no way. 2 or 3 people told me like 2 days ago. They came over to me. One, I forgot even who it was. Maybe it was Shamshi or something. That there was by certain weddings, they started being mechabed a woman to do the kriyas aksuba. Certain, it was you that told it to me. So they went to Rav Hershel Schachter, and they asked him, Schachter, I say it in Hebrew, Rav Hershel Schachter, the one who ate the chagav, the Rosh Shiva, is a tremendous Talmid Chacham, and they asked him, is it okay or not okay? So he looked at the person, he said, it's a Maisa Kaif Ba'alma. Even a monkey can read the Ksuba. And they made a whole big deal out of it. Oh, he compared women to monkeys. That's not what he said. He said that it's not something you have to be makbid on. Okay. But for those women who are watching the shir, I even have I have a email I didn't read here of a woman says, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, a grandmother of people that do shir, and I watch the shir, and by the way, pineapples, adama, and there's no arla, all drush she gives me. So we have women that watch the shir, and some people could be insulted, but the Gemara says no. There's no difference. There's no difference between the carbon of a man and a woman. You can't bring a bituma. So maybe Bnei Yisrael means that a carbon of a non-Jew could be brought by a kohen who's tamei. So he says hashtot tzitz le'miratza. We know the kohen gadol wore something called the tzitz. Doesn't really look like this. This is not halachically correct. The lashem was either on top of the kodesh or on a different row. Machlokes Rishonim exactly how, but there's the saber seinayim a little bit. It was a piece of gold that the kohen gadol wore, and that had powers of kapara to be miratza certain tumah. In the Beis Hamikdash, he says it doesn't help the tumah of a guy's carbon. It doesn't help the tumah whether it's shoygig or mezid of the guy. So you're allowed to do it l'chatchila. You're allowed to shecht a guy's carbon when you are tummy. No way. So what's the pshat? V'nazru mikachi. You have to learn the pasuk a little differently. It says in the pasuk v'nazru mikachi b'nei Yisrael. What we're going to do is chop the pasuk. V'nazru mikachi. Period. Comma. V'nazru mikachi means that the kohen who's tamei must remove himself from kachim and not do the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. And then it says another halacha b'nei Yisrael v'lo yichalalu, that if it's a regular Yisrael guy. How many koyanim are in the room right now? Just one kohen. Oh, you're also a kohen. You also got 3, 4. Because we had here, I don't remember how many days ago, we had a massive minyan packed and not a single kohen. Room was packed, not a single chair available. There are very few of them. And some of them, there's 250,000 Kohen families in Eretz Yisrael. That's what somebody just showed me yesterday. I don't know how that makes sense. It seems like a lot. Maybe their name is Kohen, but they're not really Kohanim. I don't know. Fine. Akol Panim. The Yisraels of the world. Us, peasants. We cannot perform the Avodah. B'nai Yisrael, you guys, v'lo yichalu. Don't be mechal. Don't passel the Avodah in the Beis Hamikdash. Okay, so that's one way. The Rabbi Yishmael Tana. Rabbi Yishmael says, Asi b'gav chayim b'balmum. So now we have the classic that we've seen many times already in the Masechta, and now we're just getting used to it. It's the same exact thing over and over. It says like this. Here, so we have a few psukim here. If a kohen has a mum, he's not allowed to go and perform the avodah. And it says a pasuk afterwards, he continues eating kosher. Just it says afterwards, the pasuk Chav Gimel, Kimum boy v'lo yechalal. It's mikdash. In other words, if he performs the avodah, he's mechalal, he ruins it. He's allowed to eat kosher. So Gemara says a very simple kal v'chomer. A balmum, somebody who has a blemish. By the way, Rabbi Yankel Galinsky was a vertically challenged person. That's they call him a small person. Bemis, he was a small person. He said, "What is the number one mum a person could have?" He said, "Being a small person, because then every limb of your body has a mum to it." That's how he viewed himself. The famous jokes that Reb Shalom Shvadron said, if you see a hat walking down the street, you should know it's Reb Yankel Galinsky. And he said, and if you see a button coming around the corner, you should know it's Reb Shalom Shvadron. The kids are, back and forth.
So it's kind of a short, and he said he would.
There's different short and vertically challenged. There's a different. I'm talking about some. Yeah.
It's not a mum.
I don't think it's a mum. I don't think it's a real mum. I think he felt. He was joking. He was like, he was really. I'm talking about 4 feet tall. There's difference between 5 and 4. This is vertically challenging. So.
But his kids were normal height than myself.
Yeah. Okay. Could be. So that's Akol Panim. He said this, and also I heard this from the Alter from Slobodka, and I think it's important. There's I looked it up today. It says, I don't know what the real numbers are, but let's say 20% of society suffers from low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. So if you're in this room, there must be a bunch of people that have low self-esteem. So you need to know. We all need to know that the first thing a person has to work on for Yom Kippur is to elevate your self-esteem. You have to understand that you're something. You're someone. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put you on this world for a reason, to accomplish. If he brought you here, that means he loves you and he wants. So first you have to realize that. When you realize that you're a human being and that you have godless Adam, then you do tshuva. You can't look at yourself in I'm a vertically challenged person. He's the one that said it. Yankel Galinsky is the one that said it. Okay. Somebody came over to me last night after the shir and said, I really appreciate that you spoke about that. Give me chizuk. Okay, so. If I heard it so many times this week, then obviously there are people out there that need to hear it. They need to work on themselves on that. Everybody has their avodah. So says the Gemara, so if a Baal Mum is permitted to eat the kachim, if he's a kohen that has a blemish, he doesn't have an arm, he's permitted to eat from, let's say, a chatas, a kachim, imavad chilal yet, if he performed the avodah, it's ruined. Zor shene oichel. So Yisrael, who's not permitted to eat, eridin shim avad chilal. So certainly, if he performed the avodah, he ruined it. He's not allowed to eat kachim at all. So if he does the avodah in the Beis Hamikdash, he ruined the avodah. So the Gemara, so let me just show you this thing. This is what we're using. This is the standard chart. First of all, here are the different characters that we're using today. Zar is a Yisrael. All the way on the right, a Yisrael. Balmom, he has a problem with his leg. Tamei, he's holding a dead rat. Oinain, he just lost a loved one. He has the Kriya, he's not in a good mood, and Yoshev. So the Gemara says, very simple, we're trying to figure out, how do we know that a Yisrael, if he performs the Avodah Beis Hamikdash, he ruins it. We're going to learn it from we have a lot of people we can learn it from in the Mishnah. We have Zar, Oinen, Tvul Yoim, Chus Begadim, Ariel, Tamei, Yoshev. We have all these people. So let's start with Baal Mom. A Baal Mom, if he performs the Avodah, apostle. So too, Yisrael. So the Gemara says, no, a Baal Mom has something special. Excuse me. Just like a Baal Mum, a human being that has a mum, he cannot do the Avodah. So too, an animal who has a mum, you cannot bring it as a carbon. So this mum thing, it goes on all, I don't want to use the word societies, what's the word? In all categories, it goes from humans all the way to animals. It's a very, very powerful thing, this mum. So it's karev kemakrev, it has a chesar. In the first parak, we did this number of times in all sorts of formats. It's the same thing over and over, so it's pretty easy to comprehend. So the Gemara says, okay, so I'm going to learn from Tamei. It's another thing in the Mishnah. That what if a person who's Tamei, he touched a dead rat, he did a CPR on a mouse, he's not allowed to perform the Avodah. If he performs the Avodah, it makes it possible. So too Yisrael. So he says, oh, but Tamei has something special to it. It's Metame. He has the power to make other things Tamei. So now what do we do, Rabbi Isai? What do we do now? We take the two and we learn from it one halacha. We take the two things, it goes around in a circle, then we say, okay, but a Balmum cannot make other people a Balmum or Tomei or whatever. Oh, but a Balmum is Karev Kemakrev. Okay, but Tomei, and it goes around in a circle. So let's take the two of them together and combine forces and learn one halacha from it. The water Yisrael should not be able to do the avoid in the Beis Hamikdash. That's called the Tzad Shavish Veb. And then what does the Gemara always do? Pircha. No, that's afterwards. Right now, on the Tzad Shavah, we have a pircha. What's the pircha? That the two things together, they have something special, or they cannot perform on a bama, on a private mizbeach in the backyard. Okay. So let's see inside. So we're holding over here. You want to learn from a balmum? He has something special that even a carbon has mum ruins it. So we got the Tomei guy. But Tomei you can't learn from because he could be mitam other people. Balmum cannot passel other people. The chazar didn't goes around in a circle. Each one has a positive and negative. The common denominator is shumuzarim, that the Torah tells them do not perform the avodah v'mavdu, and you should know that if they do perform the avodah, pilalu, they ruin it. And that's what I'm trying to learn from the two of them together, that a Yisrael shu muzar v'mavad chila, and if he performs the avodah, it ruins it. Minal and the muzar. How do you know that Yisrael was warned not to go into the Beis Hamikdash? Maybe Yinazru, like we darshened before. Yinazru mikache, stop. A new pasuk b'nei Yisrael v'lo yichalalu. So if he agrees, if the Beir Shmuel agree to that drashav that we learned 3 lines in the bottom of Amud Beis, that pasuk says, let's read the pasuk. They shouldn't passel it. If he's learning b'nei Yisrael v'lo yichalu, that Yisrael, not a Kohen, not a Levi, a Yisrael person who performs that v'lo yichalu, says a mefurish pasuk. So why is the Beir Shmuel learning a Kal V'chomer now? Has a mefurish pasuk. Obviously, he doesn't like that drasha. He doesn't like stopping in the middle of pasuk, breaking up a pasuk. Stop a brand new pasuk. But I don't like that drasha. I'm going with the Kal V'chomer. I'm going with logic. So where did the Torah say to Yisrael, do not go into the Beis Hamikdash? There's another pasuk. It says in the pasuk, Yisrael should not get close. So it doesn't say what happens if he performs the avodah. It just says, don't go in there. I got a really harsh email yesterday. How dare I show the Kohen Gadol depicted in a way that's litzanos. I don't show him with the Yiras Kavod. And he became personal, this email. He says, and you talk about not talking during Kaddish. How dare you tell people not to talk during Kaddish when you show the Kohen Gadol like that? And then he says, and then you also put a test on him mizbeach. That was one of his titles. His mom is stark. The Oilam's getting into it in the Seres Tshuva, stark. So this is not a mizbeach. This is called a bama. This is usher to have in your backyard. And if a person puts it in his backyard, he's over yisurim, and you're allowed to put a Tesla on something that's not a mizbeach. I don't know what maybe he's not watching the shir completely. Maybe the chap. I don't know. Yeah. But this particular picture in Jackson, in Tom's River, with the two Hasidim playing there. Yeah. So the Gemara says, when it was mutter to do the bama, these two people that we're talking about, this Tomei guy and the Balmum cannot perform on a bama, but Yisrael could perform on a bama. So you can't learn from them. You can't learn the bama. Says Gemara, you know what? You're right. Take a look at the chart now. We're going to take the tummy out of here. We're going to knock the tummy out, and we're going to use oinen. It's another thing in the. I had a guy here. I couldn't believe it. A guy, Israeli guy that was very close to Reb Chaim Kanievsky, does the shir every day. He says he does it on Kol HaLashon. He said he once had an issue. This dad, he called it Kol HaLashon. He says our shir in Hebrew is the number one shir in Kol HaLashon, and they have 700. Listening every day. So there's at least 700 people, besides all the Spotify's, that are listening to the shir and they're not enjoying the benefit of the whole shir is visual, and they're listening to the shir. And I'm saying, look at the right, look at the left, look at the tummy just went away. The oinen comes in, and they know it's flying. Unbelievable. Power imagination. I mean, for the same price, they could listen to a regular shir without. No, you can't.
Changes your life.
No, yeah, but only if you see the visuals. Okay, I'm not going to convince him not to. I just have to be more. Oh, you know what? I want to say, Reb Zev Pliskin, right? Zelig. Reb Zelig Pliskin. His son also came 2 days ago, and he told me that his father, so Zayin Gezun, watches the shir every single day. So shout out to Reb Zelig Pliskin, famous authors, famous mechaber Sfarim of Guard Your Tongue and Guard. What was it? Years ago, 40 years ago. A lot of Sfarim.
Therapist.
He has issues seeing now, and Kishbok should give him a full shleima. He watches or listens to the shir. No, he listens to the shir every day. All right, Zog the Gemara. So we have to go to the oinen now. We're getting rid of the tummy for now, and we're going to oinen. Oinen, a person who loses his close relatives cannot perform that avodah. If he performs that avodah, it's possible. So too Yisrael. Says Gemara, my oinen she can also be meiser. Oinen cannot eat meiser sheni. A Yisrael could eat meiser sheni. Ba'amum yichiach. So now we just remove tummy, we use the oinen, we do the same exact thing. Go around in a circle. Ba'amum is karv kemakriv. The carbon also gets ruined with a mum. So oinen yichiach, but oinen cannot eat meiser, but a ba'amum could eat meiser. It goes around in the circle, and then you just do the tzat hashava again. Let's answer. Boom. So the bottom line is, even the oinen cannot perform on a bama when it's mutter. Who told you that little secret that an oinen can't perform in the bama? We know that an oinen cannot perform in the Beis HaMikdash. That's true, but maybe on a bama he could. Who told you? Rav Mishar Shomar. And this is gonna, if we know this one, we know three of them. So let's pay attention over here. How do I know? Again, what am I looking for? I'm looking to know, how do I know that a Yisrael who performs the Avodah? Bezer Hashem Mashiach is coming this week. And we go into the Beis HaMikdash. Could you and I perform the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash? What happens if we do? What happens if we try to help out and we take the blood from here to there? We ruin it. How do I know? It's a simple kavachomer. From a person who's sitting. We know a kohen who sits on the ground. Of course he could eat korbanos, kachim. But if he performs that in a sitting state, he ruins it. Zar sheinu oichel. But a Yisrael like us who cannot eat korbanos, and he didn't shemavad chilel, so certainly if he performs that he ruins it. It says in the pasuk of Amdu when you testify, it's something you can't learn from a Yoshev guy. A Yoshev guy has something special. He's pasal eidos. No, you didn't understand. I was not trying to bring from a regular sitting guy. I was trying to bring from a Talmud Chacham, a Yoshev Talmud Chacham. A Talmud Chacham is permitted to sit because of its chashivas. It overcomes the assay of that they have to stand Amdu. So the Gemara says, oh, but Malashem Yoshev Shekem Pasal Leidos. You're right. You found one person called the Talmid Chacham that is a minority, but the category is a category of people who are Pasal Leidos if they sit. So Reb Misharish is not going to learn that. Shem Yoshev Loi Parach. He doesn't agree with that. He doesn't go with the category. At the end of the day, I have a person called the Talmid Chacham who sits and he's not Pasal Leidos. And even if you're going to say that he uses that as a pircha, Asiyah Mi Yoshev M'chodem Hanach. Here we go. We're going to do Yoshev. Here, Yoshev. Together with the Balmum. And now we're going to do the whole thing all over again, which we don't have to do, but Yoshev cannot testify. So Balmum. But a Balmum was carved Kemakriv. But Yoshev Yechia. But Yoshev Eimeid. And B'kitzur Chazar Adin. Then we have it Tzad Shav. And we have it Tzad Shav at the end of the day. What are we going to say? But could we answer Lehudru Babama? The answer is no. We can't say Lehudru Babama. So we got to take that off. Now, if Yoshev would be Asur Babama, then I'm going to say Lehudru Babama. But I'm not going to say Lehudru Babama. So I'm taking that off. So why can't I say Lehudru Babama? How do I know that a Yoshev is permitted to perform by Obama? When do you have to stand in front of Hashem to perform the Avodah? Lifnei Hashem, when it's in the Beis Hamikdash, V'loi, Lifnei Bama, not by Obama. Two stories I want to tell you real quickly. Yisrael Lichter, who's Rebbe Heschel Leader's son-in-law, he came home and he told his wife he wants to donate to MDY 300 shekel a month. So his wife said no. What do most wives say? 100. She said no. MDY 500 shekel. She said if you say, you say. So he said okay, 500 shekel. You signed up for 500 shekel. Gingy, the barber that I go to, a bunch of people go to him. He has a thing that he puts in. He has a WhatsApp group that you should accept Shabbos 40 minutes early. So he put in, every week, he goes in for 2 years, he has a raffle every week. So he puts in this lichter. A few minutes after he signed up, he won 500 shekel. He says, that's 1 month. I don't know what's going to happen next month. And now, yesterday I heard about this guy. I was on a Zoom call with Nisan Gans and Yossi Klein. And they told me about a guy. Nisan said, you're not going to believe this. An average guy, he made a cheshbon, him and his wife, that they want to give their mice or whatever, a nice portion of their meiser to MDY. They think they're going to get the biggest bang for the buck. They're going to make the biggest impact for Klal Yisrael, getting people to learn Torah, this, that. So I said, do me a favor, put him on the thing. So he puts him on. This is the guy. His name is Yaakov Lando, I think. I'm very bad with names. I think his name is Yaakov Lando. Maybe he says his name. And I said, do me a favor, make a video. He says, no, I can't. I'm not a video guy. I said, but it'll help other people. This morning I wake up, I got the video. So I want to say shkoyach to him.
Hello everybody, my name is Yaakov Landau.
Yaakov Landau.
And I've been part of the MDY Shir for a number of years, on and off. More recently, a good friend from work, Chaim Gold, told me it's time to get back in. And since Avodah Zarah has been on consistently, come out every single day. It's a beautiful thing. And I have a tremendous amount of akar satov to everybody involved in the shir, and to Raveli for giving the shir. And a few months ago I decided that it was time to give a monthly donation and to allocate some meiser to give to the shir, to be not just part of it, not to learn a little bit, not to be, just to be kavei itim, but also to be marbitz Torah, and really to spread Torah to everybody from all different walks of life and from all over the world. And it's something really, I think, really beautiful and makes a big difference. And I donated anonymously because I didn't want my name mentioned, and it wasn't something that I was looking for. But Nisan Al-Kans called me and he asked me to please make this video and to tell people, because I'm just an average guy, and if I can do it, really anybody can do it. And it's not about the money you give. Somebody can give $10, some guy can give $500, and anything in between. And at the end of the day, every little bit really, really does help, and every little bit makes a big difference. And I think it's a wonderful and beautiful thing to be part of.
He goes on, and I want to hear the whole thing, but it's 8 o'clock, so I'm going to cut him short.
But you can get something.
Maybe the editors will put the rest in or something. Let's go weiter. So, Yishkoyer Galamoy. Thank you, Rebecca Landau. Bemis, going out of your comfort zone, ratcheting it up a little bit, like Marv Moshe Handler, another $13. Every he's in Kyle, right? Okay. But every small amount counts. You have no idea. These small amounts, they add up to tremendous amounts. So Yishkoyer Gadol to everybody who's donating and helping MDY survive. And me pushing the ball down the road so I don't have to go to America and do a charity fund thing. Yishkoyer Gadol Mai. Oynan B'Nalan. So we're going one by one. How do we know that a Oynan, somebody who Nebach lost a close relative, who goes into the Beis HaMikdash and performs the Avodah, how do we know that Avodah is possible? There is one person in the world who loses a close relative and performs the Avodah. The Avodah is kosher. Who is that? Kohen Gadol. Says the Gemara, Oynan B'Nalan D'chsiv. It says by the Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol should not leave, and if he's in there, he performs the avodah v'lo yichalel. It doesn't become possible. So it's a simple diuk. But if somebody else, another Kohen, performs the avodah, it is possible. The Gemara is going to say in 25 seconds, hopefully, maybe more, that you could argue this. It's not so pasha that that's a good diuk. Maybe fakir, the Torah is saying the Kohen Gadol, you're so chashav, you better go home. So says the Torah, no, he doesn't go home. All the Kohanim for sure don't go home to perform the Avodah. But even the Kohen Gadol, who's so chashav, you'd say the Gadol Adar is the Kohen Gadol. Maybe he shouldn't perform the Avodah when he's in such a state? No. Kamashwan, he also should stay. Not that only him, even him. That's what the Gemara is going to say in a second. So we have to make a small akdama. The Gemara talks about this all over Shas. There's a very interesting conversation in the Torah. On the first day of Nisan, when they inaugurated the Mishkan, we know it's a very sad day. That's the day that Nadav and Avihu died. It's hard to understand what happened exactly. And one of the interesting things that happened is that the carbon chatas, which is Rosh Chodesh, the first day of Nisan, they brought a carbon chatas. They burned the carbon chatas. Moshe Rabbeinu is, why did you burn it? So there's a whole conversation in the Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu is trying to say, did you burn it because of this? You probably burned it because of this. But that's not a good reason. Maybe you burned it because of this. So one of the Pesukim, it says, Rabbi Lazar Omar Ma'acha, hey Nekrivu, you think my sons, Elazar and Isamar, who survived the death of their brothers that day, what are they called? Oynen. You think they burnt it? Ani crafty. I burnt it. That's not the reason. In other words, had they burnt it because they were oynenim, that makes a lot of sense. He's saying, don't think they burnt it because they were oynenim, which is what you're supposed to do. Why are you supposed to do it? Because when an oynen performs the avodah in the Beis HaMikdash, it's possible. So you see from here that it's possible. Ani crafty. Mechlal, the Akruv Shapir is through. If they, Elazar and Isamar, would burn it, everybody would be okay with it. Why does he have to come onto this whole pasuk and diukim? He says, Kohen Gadol shouldn't, it does not make it possible, but a regular Kohen does make it possible. Says, does the Torah infer that? That's your diuk. In other words, I don't think it's a good diuk. Because maybe the Kohen Gadol is so chashiv, we had to have him in, he should not perform the avodah. And everybody should. So how come Meheni Krivu, this whole pasuk with the Aaron HaKohen, it seems like Mefurish Aaron HaKohen is saying, look, my sons, had they burnt it, they would have been right for burning it. Why? Because they're oynenim, but I burnt it. Why didn't they go with that? There's a question, why was it burned? Was it burned because they were aninos, or is it because it became tamei? No, he'll hold it became tamei, that's why they burned it. The very Bishmal Tana, Asi B'Kavachomer Balmum. I know that a oynen cannot perform the avodah Beis HaMikdash from a balmum. Uma balmum. So now Daf Amud Beis mamish, like the rest of the sugya, like we had before, we had many times in the first parak. Ma balmum shoichel. A balmum that something's wrong with his foot, his arm. He's permitted to eat the karbanos imav achilel, but if he performed the avodah, it becomes possible. Oynen shein oichel. The same exact thing that we did on Amud Aleph when it came to the Tameh. What was it? We're talking about Tameh then?
Sorry.
Oh, Yisrael, correct. Thank you. Oinen shein oichel ein din shem avad chilal. So certainly a oinen who is not allowed to eat the karbanos, if he performs the avodah, it should be possible. Malabal mo'om shkin also by krim krimakrivim. I'm sure we have this. Do we need to do it? Let's do it. Why not? Here we go. Same thing all over again. Balmom, we'll learn from Balmom. No karv kimakriv. So I'm going to learn from Yisrael. Yisrael, I already know that he can't perform the avodah. What's the pirchan azar? Zorchia malazar shekein letakana. Unfortunately, as much as people want to go to the rabbi and become kohanim, and sometimes they're able to do it, they go to another city and they become kohanim. Oh, that was the good one. The guy goes to another city, and then the Rav comes over and says, "I don't understand something. You in the Haim, I remember you from Europe, and in Europe you were not a kohen. So how did you all of a sudden become a kohen?" He says, "And I remember you in Europe. You weren't a Rav. How did you become a Rav?" Okay, so kids are Dailam, they switch and they become kohanim. Yeah, but a Yisrael cannot be a kohen. Eli takana. That's it. He's done. He's born in Yisrael. He's a Yisrael. Malazosh kenel takana. Pamum yechiach. V'amom will prove, and we'll go around in a big circle. The bottom line is, I'm learning from the Zar and from the Bamum that Oinen is Mechal, ruins the Avodah. Hey, Chamuzar, where does it say? Where does it say this whole idea that he's not allowed to go into Beis Hamikdash? You're going to take that pasuk min hamikdash liyetze. Chil b'gufei bei. Why are the same exact source that we had before? Why do you have to come out to Gav HaChomer? You have a Mefurish pasuk. Ella mai, you don't learn from the Mefurish pasuk. Ella hein hikrivu. It just says, don't come close. Hein hikrivu kasava hein hikrivu v'kasava b'nei aninus nisrfa. He's going to learn from the pasuk that they did not. The reason why they burnt the carbon by Aaron is because of the Aninos. Let's just say the sponsor real quickly. Turning of the Daf, Adar Global Specialist in International Financial Services, Anonymous as a schos for Atzlach and Ruchnis and Gashmis, Anonymous as a schos in support of Torah that all tests should come back 100% healthy for me and my family. Here's a new pircha, something new, meaning that Oinen one day is going to become nice and good, strong. He's going to get over, he's going to bury his mace, and he won't be an Oinen anymore. But not Yisrael. Tamei Yechiach. Where could a Tamei perform the Avodah Hutru? Right now, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Oinen could do the Avodah right now, be'aninos. Not that he's going to get good. Sorry, bad. No, Hutru Mekala means as a Oinen, he could perform the Avodah. When? When he's a Kohen Gadol. As a Tamei, you can perform the Avodah right now. As a Tamei, when? No.
Carbon tzibur.
It's carbon tzibur. So Mal Tamei shekei Tamei, but still, nevertheless, you can't prove from it because the Tamei has the power to be Matama others. The Mum and the Zar could prove to you that they don't have the power to ruin it for others. The bottom line is that they are warned. As the Gemara, it's a kohen gadol b'karban yachid. I do have one interesting case of a kohen gadol by a yachid that the mum zar don't have. So the Gemara, but shame tuma mi ishtri. At the end of the day, the category of tuma does become mutter when there's a tuma b'tzibur. Rabbi Shashi Omar, okay, and now we're going to jump back to Rabbi Shashi, the same exact thing that he said in Amud Aleph. I don't need a pasuk. I don't need to learn the tzad shava. What?
Miyosh.
As we have a chaymer, mi yoshev. I have a chaymer from a sitting person that he performs the avodah. Yoshev uma yoshev sha'oichel. A kohen who performs the he could sit down in whatever he is sitting down. He can eat the karbanos. Imavad. But if he's sitting and he performs the avodah, chilel he ruins it. Oinen sheinu yoichel. Oinen who does not eat the carbon in any situation, and it didn't shemavad chilel certainly Again, we're trying to find the place for Einen. On Amud Aleph, we're looking for Yisrael. Same type of Kavachimer for Einen. Einen, who doesn't need the carbon, certainly, if he performs the Avodah, he should ruin it. Mali Yoshev came Pasal Eidos. That's another svar that we had on Amud Aleph, that a sitting person cannot perform Eidos. Mi Yoshev Talmid Chacham. No, my idea was that a sitting person who happens to be a Talmid Chacham could sit when he does Eidos. Mali Shem Yoshev, she came Pasal. But the category of a sitting person is Pasal Eidos. Shem Yoshev Leit Parach. He doesn't agree with that. And even if you hold that he does hold of that, that would look something like this if you want to see it. Oh, and then we get Tomei, Zar. No, this is something else. Because you do Yoshev together with a Tomei, let's say, a Mum, Tomei Zar, and then you do the whole thing all over again, going around the circle, inside the Shavah Shabem. That Oinen is possible. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.